Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. If you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful, where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Say it louder, say it louder. You're the question, you're the answer. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. If you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful, where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time.
A very good evening. Welcome to World Cup 2026 live here on LFS for our double header Sunday action this Father's Day here on LFS. Thank you very much for joining us as we watch the European champions, who were dramatically held to a 0-0 draw against Cape Verde last week, take on a Saudi Arabia side who held Uruguay to a 1-1 draw in their game on match day 1. So two sides in a group with all four teams on a solitary point, but a win here could be huge for who decides which way this one goes. Of course, as we expect, Spain, the European champions, should win, but after what Cape Verde did last week, anything is possible. And this Saudi Arabian side already beat the reigning champions Argentina in the 2022 World Cup, so why couldn't they do it against the reigning European champions in the 2026 World Cup? Why not? These are the results earlier today in the early hours of the morning. Ecuador against Curaçao. Another point, or a big point for Curaçao, shall I say, for a small team. 0-0 draw there, and a 4-0 thumping of Tunisia by Japan. It's knocked Tunisia out of the competition, and Japan in a very strong position at the top of Group F alongside the Netherlands. 4-0 winners there. Later this evening, Belgium take on Iran. We'll watch that game a little later. A very exciting group that one is. But here in Group H between Spain and Saudi Arabia, it is all on the line. Of course, we'll recap all of the results that we've missed since we've been away since Friday night. We'll recap all of those at half-time in this game. But it is all down to action here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the stadium that which Spain were held to a goalless draw by Cape Verde last week. Can Saudi Arabia do the same, or will the Spanish side learn the lessons of last week and find a way to put at least one team to the sword and at least one goal into the back of the opposition's net? Not being the start to the tournament the European champions would have wanted, but it is another opportunity to put 3 points on the board, and if they don't do it here, you might start have to worry about what could happen to Spain in this group. Let's have a look at the two teams for this one, starting with the Spanish side. A couple of changes from last week's 0-0 draw to Cape Verde. Unai Simon continues in goal, but Pedro Porro comes in at right back for Diego Llorente. The other defenders, all the same, Pau Cubarsí, Aymeric Laporte and Marco Correa. Pedri and Rodri continue in midfield. Dani Olmo has come in the 10. On the left-hand side is Alex Baena. He comes in to the side, as does Lamine Yamal, and Mikel Oyarzabal also starts. So 3 of the front attacking 4 have been changed, as well as the right back. So a changed side for De La Fuente for this game. On the bench for Spain, Raya, Garcia, Pubil, Garcia, Llorente, Grimaldo, Moreno, Ruiz, Gabi, Zubimendi, Williams, Torres, Pino, Munoz and Iglesias. Well, for Saudi Arabia, it was another wonderful start to their campaign, a draw against Uruguay in a game where they were dominated. But the worry would be that if Spain gets similar chances, it might not be a similar result. Alois starts in goal. They've gone for a back 5 of Abdul Hamid, Altan Bakhti, Lajami Al-Amri and Al-Harbi are the back 5. Earl Kaibari and Al-Dawsari are in the midfield, with the wide players of Al-Jawir and Al-Baraikan, with a centre forward and captain of Salem Al-Dasawi starting up front. And you can see there the Saudi Arabian back line, the substitutes there as well. We will, of course, keep you right up to date with any changes and any drama that happens throughout the game, because we are ready to go. It's Spain against Saudi Arabia in Atlanta. Kickoff is next. A very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us on your Sunday afternoon, coming into the evening for our double header this afternoon. Spain taking on Saudi Arabia in game 1. Belgium-Iran is game 2. And two sides in Spain and Belgium who didn't get off to a winning start, the European sides, will be hoping that their second game turns out to be a better overall result than their first, because in the real terms, those two teams expecting to progress from their groups, and if they don't win their second games, then question marks might be asked of them. It will be Spain that will get us underway. The countdown is on. We are off and running for this one. We are into game 1001 in World Cup history after Tunisia and Japan reached the milestone of 1,000 games in the World Cup last night. It is Spain, Saudi Arabia to kick off the second millennia of this World Cup. Already chance for Spain. Baena trying to whip it in early. Rodri guiding it back across here to Porro. Out to Lamine Yamal, who came on late in the game against Cape Verde, but wasn't able to ultimately get the goal that could make the difference. He certainly changed the game, and he's whipped the ball in there. That was dangerous. It's Oyarzabal in the middle, shall I say. Quickly retrieved. And back into the action. Spain off the mark with a lot of energy and bite right from the off as Cucurella zipping a ball through the left-hand channel and over hits. But already Lamine Yamal making his mark early in the game with that dangerous cross. And the action really was Luis de la Fuente's side were just a little bit blunt at the top end of the field in that game against Cape Verde. They did a fantastic job, and the goalkeeper Vizinha, as we've seen the response since to the Cape Verde goalkeeper. He did a wonderful job keeping Spain at bay. One of the shocks, if not the shock, of the tournament so far. But Spain, different mindset for this game, and a mindset that they need to win this in any which way. Perro going for the lovely switch ball. It's bounced its way out to Baena here. Baena onto his right foot, trying to cross it in. Ultimately, it will take a deflection. It will be a corner. Nice work from Alex Baena. The man tracking him inside was Musab Al-Jawir. Saudi Arabian head coach Georgios Donis, the Greek in charge of Saudi Arabia. Spain have a corner here on the right hand side. And Lamine Yamal is over this corner. Taken short. Pedri whipped in by Yamal. No one at the front post to meet the cross. As Alton Bakhti was able to clear it away there. Danny Olmo, Cucurella, Olmo coming deeper. Finding Rodri. For the switch, finds Porro in the space. Wide to Yamal. Dragging players towards him. Yamal trying to lift it round the back. Baena heads it across and into the hands of Al-Awais, the Saudi Arabian goalkeeper. Yeah, really good work from the wingers. Again, it's Yamal with the cross deep to the back post. It's a deft header back across by Alex Baena. This one just bounced into the hands of Al-Awais, but decent link up between the two wingers. That connection that we usually see between Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. Certainly working out well there early doors between Yamal and Baena. Started the real more determination to get an early goal here, Spain. Yamal works inside this time. Drifting into the centre, going for goal himself. This one carried wide and high. Behind for the goal kick, but racking up the chances so far here, Spain. They'd be dominant in possession, over 90% of the ball in the first 4 minutes. So a dominant start from the Spaniards. And of course, they've got numbers across here, obviously, as you would expect. Saudi Arabia to defend the situation when Lamine Yamal gets in those 1v1 positions. Becomes a 1v3, really, in a sense. Of course, I watched that game, a little bit of it anyway, between Uruguay and Saudi Arabia. And the first half, Uruguay were really poor in terms of their play. It was just really ponderous, really slow, lacking pressure. And Saudi Arabia were comfortable and ultimately ended up taking the lead in that game. And ultimately the late equaliser from Uruguay led it to just a draw. But the Saudi Arabian side are dangerous when they do get chances and can break forward, as we've seen previously. But it's about the defending today will be the key. It's how they keep Spain at bay. It's how they stop Spain from trying to find that opener. And at anything, they need to keep it at 0-0 at least for as long as possible, because if Spain score early, then you do fear that it could get a high result, a high score. But the fact that Spain have started with such great energy will be a little bit of a concern to Saudi Arabia. Here's Lamine Yamal. Porro down the right hand side, gets it under his right, drives it across, cleared away that time by Laijami. Yamal gets 1v1 with the Saudi Arabian captain, Al Dasawi. And Aymeric Laporte finds Cucurella down the left. Rodri. Pedri. In the half space, trying to flip it over the top was Baena, but that was given away. But almost battling to win it back, loses out. Saudi Arabia try and break down the left, and there's bodies forward here. Opportunity down this left-hand side with Al Harbi. Back inside, Al Dassari. Trying to flick it round the corner was the centre forward, Al Burektan. Nice play though from Saudi Arabia. Good break down that left-hand side by Al Harbi. And Al Dassari linking up with Baraktan. Trying to whip it round the corner, but easily dealt with by Spain. But the counter-attacking threat was there from Saudi Arabia. Here's Rodri. Finding Cucurella. On the turn there was Pedri. Into the left-hand side, Cucurella. Pedri. Back across to Porro. Porro to Yamal. Yamal trying to again lift it round the back. Header by Lajami. Picked up by Cucurella. Little 1-2 with Baena, and Cucurella did get the last touch off the defender. That time it was Al-Khaibari. Put that challenge in. Opportunity for Spain from the left-hand side. Swung in. Fizz to the edge of the box. Olmo caught it, but Olmo saw it striding over the crossbar. Yeah, straight out of the training ground there from Spain. It was Lamine Yamal trying to fizz it to the edge of the box, and Dani Olmo caught it on the volley, just over the crossbar. Quite comfortably dealt with. In the end, not the best of deliveries. As Earl says, I've been really enjoyed your commentary. Been here for a few games and it's been excellent every time. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have everybody's company for this one. And of course, another game coming on a little later on in Belgium against Iran. So far in this game, around 8.5 minutes gone if you're only joining us. Spain have had the vast majority of possession, dominating the play. But to this point, not many clear-cut opportunities. Still without a shot on target. So Saudi Arabia keeping them at bay for the moment. Yamal to Porro. Kubasi. Pedri to Laporte. Darting it down the left. Baena to make the run. Clips it across. Not fully cleared. The bouncing ball will drop for Pedri. Finding Porro. Yamal. Back to Pedro Porro, who will strike. He's got a right foot in him, Pedro Porro. He went for it there, but couldn't keep the shot down. We've seen it a couple of times for Spurs, where he's got into that little half space, and he's just struck it from the edge of the area. This time it's just carried over, leans back, carries it over the crossbar. Again, decent play from Luis de la Fuente's side, but again, just lacking that cutting edge to really test Alois in the Saudi Arabian goal to this point. Here's Baena. Flicks it round the corner. Oyazabal on the chase down the left-hand side. Bodies in the mix. Oyazabal! Yamal! Spain take the lead. What a ball across by Mikel Oyazabal. And Lamine Yamal sliding in gives Spain the lead. Breakthrough at this World Cup for the European champions. Right on 10 minutes, their 18-year-old superstar who rode them to the Euros 2 years ago as his account opened in the World Cup for the first time in his career. And Spain are off the mark here in the USA. Luis de la Fuente's side in front, and it was a gorgeous move. Again, it all comes from the space being left. It's a poor long ball. Picked up in the midfield, quickly recycled by Spain. Out to that left-hand side. Great ball round the corner from Baena. Oyazabal came wide. And this cross, we talk about the corridor of danger. Across that 6-yard box, it was a zipping ball by Oyazabal. And right there at the back post, sliding in, was Lamine Yamal to just see it past Alois and into the Saudi Arabian net. Spain 1, Saudi Arabia 0. And they're off the mark at this World Cup. That was a wonderful move by Spain. but it was the space that was left from the long ball. Saudi Arabia pushed up the field. There was acres of space in behind, and they timed it well. The front three combined to perfection for Spain. The left winger played in the centre forward, and the centre forward crossed it for the right winger in the area at the back post. Gorgeous. Here's Yamal. And that's what I kind of said about the worry for Saudi Arabia, would be, is if Spain got that early goal, then it really could be a real difficult one for them, and a difficult night for them, or a difficult afternoon for them, shall I say, as it's won back by Yamal high up the field, right in the corner. Baena tried to get on the end of it. Pedri fires it over the crossbar. Well, that was far from convincing defensively from Saudi Arabia. Yamal just picked the pocket of the defender. And in that case, the ball through to Alex Baena, just a little bit ahead of Baena. Great ball, maybe just a little high, or a little heavy, shall I say, just too close to the keeper, Alois, who closes it down well. And the follow-up wasn't the best in the end from Pedri. He told Oyarzabal to leave it. In the end, Pedri with the poor finish. But better from Spain again, though, better pressure. And again says Cape Verde will probably be the only team to stop Spain scoring in this World Cup. Well, I wouldn't. Oh, listen, Spain, I think, for me, are a well-oiled machine. In comparison to other teams, when they get going and they kick into gear, that's when you worry about Spain, because they will find something from anywhere. But it's maybe a little rusty, maybe just grow into the tournament. Cape Verde were able to hold them at bay. But I think once Spain get kicking into gear, that's when they'll look dangerous, and that's when they'll show their true quality. But at the same time, we'll wait and see how they do against a team of similar quality if they get there in the knockout stages, because I think Uruguay will be much more matched in terms of a toe-to-toe type of game, whereas Saudi Arabia and Cape Verde will be more defend first and then think about attacking as a last resort or as an afterthought. I think Uruguay will go toe-to-toe with Spain, and that will be a very intriguing game on match 3, but that's where we'll really get the true test of Spain. But early doors in this game, I mean, they've been all over Saudi Arabia, and by that one foraying attack up the field that ended in really nothing too dangerous for Spain from Saudi Arabia, they haven't been able to get out of their own half. Laporte on the left-hand side, cut onto his right foot was Baena, and the shot over the crossbar. Yeah, beautiful cross by Oyarzabal. Oyarzabal broke a record in the opening game. He became the only player ever in World Cup history, at a World Cup since records began, to not touch the ball in the first 31 minutes of a game. He never touched the ball in the first 31 minutes of the game against Cape Verde. That's the first time in history that a single player hasn't touched the ball in the first 31 minutes of a World Cup match. Mikel Oyarzabal. That's how isolated he was in that game, and how difficult Spain struggled to find him in that match. But they found him in this one, and he's found them an opener within 10 minutes. Playing that pass to Lamine Yamal, who we knew would be one of the main threats, if not the main threat for Spain in this game. And I'm sure Saudi Arabia did too, but when everything's in transition and they're out of shape, out of structure, it is all about 1v1 play. And in that sort of situation, that's where Lamine Yamal comes alive. 1v1, he can destroy anybody in world football. Here he is again, Yamal. 3 watching, leaves a bit of space between him and the defenders. He tries to cross into the hands of Alois, but Yamal there didn't want to take on his defenders, decided just to cut back onto his left, a few yards away from any defender, and decided to whip it in early. Spain have it again. Pedri from range. Good save by Alois. was actually Mikola Yadabal, sorry, that had the shot, not Pedri. See it again, and Yadabal stretching onto his right foot, struck it down towards that bottom left corner, and Alaves did well to dive to his right, make the save, but more threat from Spain as the Mexican wave goes around the Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. Yeah, beautiful. Loving the atmosphere inside this stadium. Here's Olmo in the pocket. Nicely taken off the ball there. I haven't said many of the names of the Saudi Arabian players because they haven't had much possession so far by the goalkeeper. That was Nasser Al-Daisari winning the ball there off Dani Olmo. Here is Al-Amri. To Abdul Hamid. No room there for Saudi Arabia to progress the ball down the right. And again, Spain quickly retrieve the ball. Here's Pau Cubarsí. Back to Llorente Laporte. Ball played round the corner. Yadabal trying to float it back across. Whether he wanted to shoot or play the pass, I'm not too sure what that was. But nonetheless, it found neither the back of the net or a Spanish player. Squared right across the area. You know, Simon not letting that one go for the goal kick. Pau Cubarsí. Rodri into Pedri. And Pedri trying to launch it forward. Jamal in the 1v1 chase. And that time Al Harbi sitting back. And ushering it out for the goal kick. A bit heavy the ball from Pedri, but nicely done by Al Harbi, the left back of the Saudi Arabian side. No room there for Yadabal. He's looking much more prominent in this game, Mikola Yadabal. Already early doors in this match. Real Sociedad centre forward. Just short of 20 minutes gone, and it's been a real struggle for Saudi Arabia to get any sort of decent possession. Around about 75% of the ball for Spain. I think the majority of the Saudi possession has been either from goal kicks or giving it away their own half, as they've given it away here. Chance in behind. Yadabal was doubled up on there, and the extra defender came across to put it behind for the corner. See it again here. They're trying to take the for the throw in, and Dani Olmo does well to block it. Fed in behind for to Mikola Yadabal. A really good challenge. Stretching back towards a goal from Lajami. Yeah, did very well there. Really good tackle, sees it behind for the corner, but it's again self-inflicted from Saudi Arabia from their own throw-in. Halfway up the field, they end up giving away a corner. Swung in, headed one on the near post, drops for Olmo at the back post. He swung at it, but off target. Still around the mix, and that one's poked in. Mikola Yadabal doubles the lead. Set up the first, scored the second, and Spain are in front and doubling their front lead at this moment in time. 10 minutes after their opener, they find their seconds, and it's from a corner that was cheaply given away by Saudi Arabia halfway up the field. Architects of their own downfall in those moments, and they pay the price on what seems to be a dangerously venomous and threatening Spain side. Again, it's Dani Olmo, awful effort, but it's just a bobbling around of the box. It's flicking around. I think it's Llorente Laporte that takes it down, and then it finds a Yadabal who just feeds it into the net. Nicely worked. Again, it's not the best from Dani Olmo, but they do well to work it into the space, Spain, and he just flicks it with the outside of his left boot round the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. 2-0 Spain, and Spain's number 21 scores on the 21st minute to double their lead. Spain 2, Saudi Arabia 0. They were checking for a possible offside there though, but that was quickly checked and cleared as a definite goal. A very difficult first quarter of this game for Saudi Arabia. They've been under the cosh, and Spain have been devastating in the final third. 2 really good opportunities and 2 well-taken goals by Lamine Yamal and Mikel Oyarzabal. Olmo, space in behind again. Oyarzabal not the best of headers to help out Dani Olmo there, as Saudi Arabia able to win it back, but Rodri there, right off the back of the left back, Al Harbi. Now down the right for Yamal, swings it into the box. A little bit too much for Baena, but he will just about keep it in play. Off this left, Baena onto his right. Cuts back, swings it across to Porro. Porro, he will loft it right round the back again. Cucurella, Olmo, and that is gorgeous. Oyarzabal for 3. It is silky smooth football from Spain. Absolutely delightful. 3-0 up, and they are rampant, La Roja, against Saudi Arabia. Absolutely destroying them. Pass after pass. Beautiful movement. It's crisp, sharp, delicious football. And Spain lead by 3-0 on 23.5 minutes. My goodness me. It is gorgeous, scintillating. I mean, it's wonderful ball in by Porro. Cucurella plays it back to Olmo, who flicks the header on, and Oyarzabal just on the volley tucks it in at the back post. I mean, it's absolutely scintillating football. Probably one of the best team goals I've seen at this tournament so far. Absolutely exquisite from Spain. Incredible. And it's only what they deserve. They have been excellent from the off. Their energy, their intensity, their power in the game. And this is the type of result. And it's only 24 minutes on the clock. But Saudi Arabia, again, giving themselves so many problems. Miles off the press. Lots of space in behind, giving players time and space galore wherever and whenever they want it. It is, without a better phrase, suicidal football from Saudi Arabia at times. And they have paid the price. We are going to have the hydration break for the moment, but what a time. Spain 3 to the good and absolutely rampant in this match. And at this rate, they could be repeating the result of 4 years ago when they thrashed Costa Rica 7-0. They're 3-0 up, and there's only 25 on the clock. But it's wonderful football from Spain. They're devastating. Absolutely devastating. We see the repeat of the goals, but it's not only been Mikel Oyarzabal. I think what they've done really well, Spain, and this is what the problem was from the first game, they didn't have out-and-out wingers. Ferran Torres can be more central, can play off the wing, but is more dangerous through the middle, and Gavi is a midfielder. So those were their starting wingers in that game against Cape Verde. They're useless against a back 5 because you're going to be facing a low block. Difference in this game, the wingers though have found those spaces, and there's been lots and lots of space in this game. Absolute acres of it, because Saudi Arabia, I don't know what the attempt is. They're trying a low block, but there's no block there. There's a 5 and then a 4 and then a 1. But the 4 are dropping so deep, there's no pressure on the ball around the edge of the box, and they're coming so narrow that the wingers are having the time and space in the wide areas anyway, even with a back five. And then when they're dragged out to the ball, it stretches the defence. There's gaping holes in between the lines. Everybody's everywhere, and it's a complete muddle. And at this moment in time, there's no organisation, there's no stubbornness, there's no man-to-man play. They're just targeting certain areas, and when Spain move the ball so quickly, like they did for that third goal, devastating, you're just chasing shadows at that point, and you're done for when you're in that type of situation, because Spain will kill you. And that is where Saudi Arabia have really hurt themselves in this game, because they've been so reluctant to give pressure to the ball. They've been, and when they have, Spain have played in behind them. So there's been that gap of, they're trying to press, but then they're also trying to sit deep. So there's those gaps emerging, and they're not really getting much pressure on the ball, but they're also leaving space in behind. So it's a combination of a whole lot of things. They just haven't went well for Saudi Arabia defensively, and it's been concocted in Spain playing really good, intense, sharp football, and they've killed them. They've absolutely killed them. Simon with the long kick. Good hold up there from Oyarzabal. Yamal back to Porro. Aymeric Laporte. Rodri. Time to play a measured ball down the left. Baena off the left, trying to whip it in. Get another chance as it was cleared away. Baena again. Try to reverse it this time for Cucurella on the underlap. Cleared away, only as far as Olmo on the edge of the area. Rodri. Worked wide again. Baena. Into Olmo. Evades the pressure. And another one. Then it drops for Pedri. Try to squeeze it through, but that was given away. Porro wins it back. Now Yamal. Yamal trying to curl one. Bit too much on it there, Lamine Yamal. So as it stands, with Spain being top of the group, of course, we can tell you the kind of possible outcomes from the round of 32 as it stands right now, with the groups as they are. With Spain currently top of this group and will be winning this group, their likely opponents in the round of 32 would be Austria. Now, of course, it will be the runner-up of Group J, so that's Austria, Argentina, Jordan and Algeria's group. Now, of course, Argentina and Austria both won their games, so Argentina are top, Austria are second as it stands. Therefore, with Spain leading this group, then it will be Spain, Austria in the next round, possibly. As it stands as well, Saudi Arabia would qualify as a best third as it stands. So they would be, in terms of, they would have as a best third against Mexico, who have currently won, of course, Group A. So that will be their opponents as it stands with the current measurement. Uruguay would be second in this group as it stands. They would face Argentina. What a game that would be. I have to say, whoever Argentina play, it's not going to be an easy game for them. Neither for Spain. Austria and Argentina, whoever you get in the next round, is not going to be an easy opponent. And the same for Argentina, whoever they get in Spain or Uruguay is not going to be an easy opponent either. The likelihood is that will be the case. Saudi Arabia might turn this around and might change the dynamics. Or Cape Verde, you never know. I want to write them off at this point. Some really interesting matchups in the round of 32 as it stands. England would face Portugal. France would face Cote d'Ivoire. Brazil, Japan would be a matchup. Colombia, Paraguay. Canada, Belgium. USA, Ecuador. Netherlands, Morocco. South Korea, Switzerland. Germany, Scotland. Norway, Sweden. I mean, there's some really good matchups there if it stays as it is with the groups as they are. But The likelihood of that happening is very rare, very unlikely, but something of a similar scenario would be a fantastic knockout starter. Of course, the knockouts do start on the 29th, next Monday. So 8 days' time, the round of 32 begins. Or sorry, in a week's time, apologies. A week's time. First game would be South Korea, Switzerland, as it stands, the 28th of June, which is a week today. Yeah, because Saturday night is the conclusion of all the group games. England against Panama is on Saturday night, so that's their group. Group L will conclude the group stages. And of course, we'll let you know what groups we're following, because we can't follow all 12 groups, because there's some groups in the middle of the night, and 3 a.m. and all of that. We couldn't follow that, unfortunately, but we will follow as much as we can and keep you up to date with as much as we can. Of course, the conclusion of each group will start on Wednesday. We will, of course, there is a lot on the line in that front. We start with Group B, I think. We will be starting on Wednesday night. And then Group C as well in action on Wednesday night too. Here's Yamal. Nice little jinking football. Not way through there. As Al Harbi got the challenge in on Lamine Yamal. Al-Dassari played through here. That's a lovely little layoff. Al Harbi on the underlap, and he's broken away here free. And Al-Dassari trying to play through the middle. Just tracked all the way by Pau Kubarsi in a 1v1, but really nicely done by Kubarsi to hold off that Al-Dassari. But Al-Dassari and Al Harbi there, causing the danger for Saudi Arabia on the counter-attack. Well, we know Spain's danger. So we've already seen it in abundance in this game to this point. Well, since, as I said, they were champions, they haven't progressed past the round of 16 in a World Cup since they were crowned champions back in 2010. They were knocked out of the round of 16 in each of the last 2 World Cups, Spain. They only won 1 of their group games in each of the last 2 World Cup groups. One was against Iran and one was against Costa Rica. As Al-Amri tried to beat the goalkeeper Unai Simon there. It was an audacious one. Unai Simon has it well under control, but it was worth a go. Worth a go. Why not? Didn't quite work out. Well, Lamine Yamal becomes the first man to score for Spain at a World Cup since Alvaro Morata did it against Japan in the last group stages. Of course, it was a 0-0 draw in their round of 16 defeat to Morocco on penalties. Oh, that's an empty net! And Mikola Yadabal was on a hat-trick. Goodness me, it's off the top of the crossbar. We'll see it here. Olaways had to come rushing out to clear that one. He cleared it right into the path of Yadabal, who had an empty net to spin it into. The audacity to execute it like that, and just under the top of the crossbar on a hat-trick. That would have been one hell of a way to add a hat-trick at the World Cup for you. Wonderful from Mikola Yadabal, but under the roof of the crossbar. Goodness me. Spain posing more threat to score more. And again, Saudi Arabia all of their own doing there. That one. Lamine Yamal. He's going to hit. Curl one! Save well by Alaouez, and the heavy touch from Baena allows them to clear again, but Cucurella, wide it goes. Rodri clips it to the right-hand side. Porro on the right flank, cuts inside to Yamal, drifting infield. Yamal again going for the curler. That one lifted wide. Goal kick. They've had absolute dumps of chances, to say the very least. 14 shots in the game for Spain, 4 of them on target, an XG of 1.7. Bouncing ball over the top here. Unai Simon came and did launch it clear. And they haven't conceded a goal either, Spain, in terms of 90 minutes since the group stages of the last World Cup. And they lost 2-1 to Japan in Qatar. And they've kept a clean sheet in each of the last two 90-minute games in the World Cup. Albeit they were both goalless draws. Saudi Arabia, I'm not too sure if they are a team they've played before, because at the moment it's still in behind. Olmo laid off here. Yamal edge of the box, covered over by a load of white shirts. Pedri clips it back to Olmo now. Yamal wide, it goes to Porro. Lamine Yamal again. Rodri, Yamal, Pedri, Yamal back to Rodri. I mean, it's all Spain again, passing it around, player to player. Just fun out there for Spain. Such ease. And this turn by Pedri finds Porro. Excuse me, wide to Yamal. Round the corner for Porro. Cuts it to the back post. Little overhit that one. Picked back up by Cucurella. On the left, Pedri to Rodri. Lofted out to the right hand side. Cut out well by Al Harbi, but clipped back into the path of Porro. Finds Olmo. Right, Pedri flicking around the corner, looking for the run of Yamal. That's cleared away. Defence against attack. Correa trying to break down the left. That was cut out. Tried to be held back by Alex Baena, but cleared away again by Saudi Arabia. Al-Amri that time with the stoppage. Japan winning the World Cup. Well, they've played very well, Japan, so far. 4-0 thumping of Tunisia last night, after their 2-2 draw with the Netherlands. Between Netherlands and Japan to win that group in Group F. Very intriguing. Well, of course, France were the bookies' favourites after what was a poor result for Spain last week, 6 days ago. France then played on the Tuesday evening and things changed. France became the World Cup favourites. Here come Saudi Arabia. Oh, bit of confusion there between, I think it was Pau Kubarsi and Unai Simon. They get back up, which is good to see, but they kind of collided there. Here is Dani Olmo. Down the right-hand side, Lamine Yamal into the last 5 minutes of the first half. Spain 3, Saudi Arabia 0. This is kind of what we're expecting in Spain's first game against Cape Verde. Not the way it ended up, though. And Spain very well knew, and know now, it's not an easy task. France still remain the outright favourites, 4-1 favourites. Spain at 5-1, England 13-2, so England third favourites, and then Argentina, Portugal, Brazil. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, bops again for Oyarzabal, who struck it. Just kind of snatched at it there. Mikel Oyarzabal. See it again. Look at that beautiful little flick round the corner, and Oyarzabal miscued it, and then he gets a second shot at it. And as he swipes it, Saudi Arabia 1,000 to 1 to win the World Cup. They have more of a chance of winning the World Cup, or actually the same chance as Cape Verde, according to the bookmakers. 1,000 to 1. Ollie, very different atmosphere from the Spanish crowd inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium in this game than it was 6 days ago, where they were anxious, nervous, and a little bit frustrated with their side's result and performance. But a very different performance and so far result for Spain. They've played a bit of football recently though, Saudi Arabia, and that wasn't a bad play, but nicely seen behind by Alex Baena. Took the deflection off the Saudi Arabian attacker nonetheless. Really nicely done by Alex Baena, covering over. Dosari out to the the left hand side. Here is Salam Al Dosari. Little 1-2. That's good defending back by Pau Kubarsi to see it behind for the corner. They've showed a little bit more threat though the last few minutes, Saudi Arabia, but I think it's more about just to keep Spain at bay and stop them from scoring more than trying to get back into this game at this stage. But they get a goal. Seems stranger things happen, but it really would be strange if anything other than a Spain win happened from this sort of situation. It will be Al Jair to the edge of the box. They evaded the initial pressure, but now they've left themselves exposed. Spain won it back, and Yamal tried to take a touch, but in the end played it right into the defender's feet. That's well dealt with. A reminder for you, Belgium against Iran is our later offering from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles tonight, 8 o'clock. From the other group in Group G, this is Group H that we're currently watching. Group G a little later on, Belgium against Iran. Kubarsi. Porro. Olmo. Porro. Kubarsi. Much more pace and tempo in the Spanish possession play in this game than there was in the previous. Olmo. Yamal. Runners into space. Back to Olmo it goes. Switched across. Nice play by Rodri. Now Cucurella. They're on the move again here. Spain into added time. Baena off the left. He's options in the middle. Cuts it back. Rodri's going to go. That one's over the bar by Rodri. 5 added minutes at the end of the first half. Says, are you doing comms for that Belgium-Iran game? I am indeed, yes. Belgium-Iran. A little later, looking forward to that one. See how Belgium react to their draw with Egypt, and really how Iran actually come out and play, because after their 2-2 draw with New Zealand, maybe some a little shocked at that in a little way, that maybe they expected Iran to get the win in that one, but much tougher task against Belgium for Iran. And if they want to have, that group wants to have a best third team in Iran or New Zealand, they need to cause a bit of a damage to Egypt or Belgium. Either one of the two of them. We'll see if Iran can lay a glove on the Red Devils a little later on. Here is Lamine Yamal. Down the right hand side is Porro. Back to Yamal again. Flick around the corner back towards Kubarsi from Pedri. Now, I know it's a bit obvious to say, but that's what a lot of the Spanish team have in common, is that quite a few of them do play for Barcelona. Yamal, Pedri, Gavi, Kubarsi, Llorente. I mean, there's... not Llorente, apologies. Ferran Torres, of course, amongst them. So there's a lot of Spanish players that do play for the same club, so they have that connection together. I mean, they've also won a Euros together. I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Cucurella trying the cross, took a deflection behind for the corner. Of course, this Spanish side that saw off the likes of France and England in the Euros. At the very least, to win the competition, they played Croatia amongst them in that tournament. They wonderful, wonderful job to crown themselves European champions once again. That's why they came into this tournament with such a favourite feel about them to win the tournament. Oh, they caught in possession here. Opportunity to break here for Daisari. Does well to find the ball out to Al Harbi here, but covering was Lamine Yamal. And that's seen behind for out for the throw. As I was saying, Spain beat Croatia and Italy in their Euros group. They knocked out Germany and France and England in the final to be crowned European champions. To 7 wins in a row in that tournament. 7 wins to win the trophy. What a shocking defending there from their own box. Not away yet as Rodri hooks away. Not the best of clearances from that long throw from Saudi Arabia. About a minute and a half to go with the first half here. Spain 3, Saudi Arabia 0. What has been a ferocious first half from La Roja. Algeria there just played it offside, so that's going to be a free kick to Spain. Aina, Pedri back to Ben and across to Oyalabal, who just kind of swept it into the path of the goalkeeper Olaves, who is comfortably gathering. A reminder at half-time we will talk about all the results that we missed, all the scores that we missed from Friday night into yesterday, and of course overnight as well. We'll talk about all of those games that we have to catch up on. 7, I think it is, across the last day and a half that we will recap for you at half-time. So do stay with us for that. Forward by Alaves, but straight to his opposite in the Spanish goal, and that will call to an end the first half. So a first half which was much more dangerous and much more venomous from Spain. They played some wonderful stuff. It was Lamine Yamal to get them off and running at this tournament from a wonderful cross from Mikel Oyarzabal, and then Mikel Oyarzabal turned from provider to finisher himself, scoring the next 2 in 3-minute spell to get himself 2 on the night. And now 3 for Spain at the break. Half-time, it's Spain 3, Saudi Arabia 0. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions, and there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a 4th, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible!
All this time, I've been holding on so tight, 'cause all that I do was easy to use. So call my time, but you weren't really mine, just something to do. Thought I never knew. No surprise, but nevertheless, I'm still stuck in self-defense. No surprise, but nevertheless, I
Welcome back to World Cup 2026 half-time. It is Spain 3, Saudi Arabia 0 at the break in Atlanta, Georgia. Wonderful start to the game for Spain. Have looked much more dangerous in this one. Oyarzábal with 2 and Lamine Yamal on the score sheet as well. Elsewhere over the weekend on Friday night, it was a defeat for Scotland against Morocco. A result that Steve Clarke and his team will be disappointed with after what was a performance that probably deserved a little bit more. But ultimately, Saibari's goal after just 70 seconds gave Morocco the lead and enough to claim victory over Scotland. So Morocco and Brazil in control of that group, but Scotland still on the scene as well, certainly in a position to at least qualify, maybe as a best third. In terms of yesterday's result, 4 games from yesterday, and these are the results in the early hours. Brazil thrashed Haiti by 3-0 in their game. Haiti out of the tournament, one of the first teams to be knocked out after, of course, they can't catch anyone in that group and will mathematically be unable to catch Scotland after their head-to-head result. Paraguay officially knocking Turkey out of the tournament with their 1-0 win over the Turks in that game. That was in the early hours of Saturday morning. A wonderful result for Paraguay, so a 1-0 win for them means their hopes of staying in the group and possibly progressing past the group stages are alive and kicking. But Turkey knocked out after 2 defeats in a row at the start of the group stages. They are out of the tournaments. Last night, though, the big countries turned up. Netherlands thrashing Sweden by 5-1. The same scoreline that Sweden put past their opponents in match day 1, of course, in Tunisia. So a wonderful result for the Netherlands. 5-1 victory for them after their 2-2 draw with Japan. And Germany, though, needed a late one, but they did ultimately win against Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire, who took the lead in that game, but Germany came out 2-1 victors in the end, so a big result for the Germans. 2 wins in a row means they are all but qualified. We'll talk about the groups in a moment. Overnight, as we mentioned earlier, a 0-0 draw between Ecuador and Curaçao. A big point for Curaçao, their first ever at a World Cup. For Ecuador, a disappointing result for them. Again, not the best in terms of overall performance from Ecuador, who lost their opener and are yet to score in the tournament. So just 1 point from their first 2 games means they're at risk of being knocked out. They played Germany in Game 3. And a thumper for Japan over Tunisia. They knocked Tunisia out of the tournament. A 4-0 win for Japan. Daichi Kamada with the opener. Ueda with 2 goals either side of Ito's goal to make it 3-0. A 4-0 win for Japan. A wonderful result for the Japanese, who look, along with the Netherlands, to be competing for top spot in that group after 4 points apiece. But even Sweden are there on 3 points as well. A reminder for you, later this evening, Belgium take on Iran at 8 o'clock. Uruguay, Cape Verde in this group that we're watching between Spain and Saudi Arabia. That is Group H. That will be at 11. Then the early hours, New Zealand, Egypt is in Group G. That's Belgium and Iran's group. They will play. But we will be back tomorrow evening. Once again, after Belgium-Iran, we'll be back for Austria against Argentina. Argentina-Austria at 6, and then France-Iraq at 10. Looking forward to those 2 games tomorrow as well. So lots to look forward to. Let's have a quick look at the groups, though, to see what way they look. After 2 match days for some teams, 1 for still others. Mexico are 6 points. They're group winners in Group A. Korea on 3 points. They, of course, beat Czechia, so they can be caught by South Africa, who they play in the final game, but the chances of that happening are slim. But Czechia could ultimately still win their game and finish as a best third. Korea, of course, could be overtaken, not on goal difference, though. In Group B, Canada and Switzerland both on 4 points. Bosnia and Qatar on a point apiece. So a wonderful result for Canada, their first ever World Cup win, unbeaten from 2 games, as are Switzerland. So those 2 will battle it out in Game 3 to see who will top the group in that one. Canada with the goal difference advantage at the moment. Group C, A similar theme, Brazil and Morocco were the top two, but Scotland are hanging around. But of course, with their defeat to Morocco, they would have to beat Morocco on points. So they would have to win against Brazil, Scotland to finish above Morocco and possibly win the group. That is a possibility. If Morocco draw or lose to Haiti and Scotland were to win, then Scotland would top the group. But that is a slim chance, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. In Group D, USA are group winners after they beat Australia and Paraguay, and Turkey are out of the tournament. It means USA can't be leapfrogged no matter what happens now because they can't finish above them on points. So USA are group winners after 2 wins apiece. The first time they've won back-to-back group games since 1930. In the tournaments. Group E, Germany in the driving seat there after their win over Cote d'Ivoire. They play Ecuador. They cannot be caught on that front, so they are group winners. In Group E, Curacao are still in the mix because they play Cote d'Ivoire in their final game. I got that right. Ecuador, of course, can finish above Cote d'Ivoire if results go their way, despite that defeat. In Group F, similar themes. 3 teams all competing. 3 possible spots coming out of that group, though. Sweden, Japan, and Netherlands, Tunisia are out of the group. And of course, Group G and H, we're currently in action today. Group H, as you can see there, Spain as it stands, topping the group on 4 points as it stands with their first win of the tournament. See how Uruguay and Cape Verde respond later, but at the moment, Spain in the driving seats. So, we're all but ready to go for the second half between Spain and Saudi Arabia here in Atlanta, Georgia, in the USA. And Spain with a 3-goal lead at the break. A lot for the Saudi Arabia side to try and overcome and find a way back from. Anything out of this game would be magnificent, but it looks a slim to none in terms of chance for them to get it at this rate. It looks like Spain are going to make some half-time changes as well, in the fact that maybe some rest for players after what seems to be the result possibly in the bag for Spain. I see a double substitution at the break. Lamine Yamal and Mikel Oyarzabal, the 2 first half scorers, are off. They've had their spell in play. And Yeremy Pino and Ferran Torres are on. So Torres and Pino are on, replacing Lamine Yamal and Mikel Oyarzabal. Saudi Arabia, I think, are maybe readying some changes as well. Mohamed Kano and Abdullah Al-Hamdan are coming on at half-time. They're replacing Al-Kaibari and Al-Dwyer. So Al-Dwyer and Al-Kaibari off, replaced by Kano and Al-Hamdan. Ready to count down for the second half. The fans inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're off and running again. 3-0 to Spain as we enter the second half. And the 2 that put them into that lead are now having a little rest. A 45-minute cameo and spell. And it means that at this point, Spain are comfortable and feel that they are comfortable to win this comfortably. So they have made some changes. And I would expect something similar in terms of the pressure from Spain in this second half to be put on Saudi Arabia, although they've made changes of their own, Saudi Arabia. But I think if Spain keep their foot on the pedal and don't ease off, like we've seen in previous games where teams have eased off the pedal and conceded as a result, I think, I have to say, they're in a possible position to maybe snatch a goal. But offside there is Al Harbi trying to break down the lefts. looking for a stat that was alerted to me at half time, but I don't actually remember what it was. Something about Mikola Yadabal. There it is. Yadabal became just the third player to score and assist 3 goals, score or assist 3 goals in the opening 30 minutes. And the both previous ones came back in 1966. So after what was a record-breaking first match day for him, where he became the first player ever to not score or to not touch the ball in the first 31 minutes, he's added his list to a very short list of players who've done the exact opposite and been as clinical as possible. Scored twice and assisted the other in the first, all in the first 30 minutes of a game. Aaron says, out of interest, how do you pronounce your name? Irish spellings are wild. Yeah, they are wild. It's Caoimhan. Caoimhan is the pronunciation. Yeah, they are Irish names. I mean, even Caoimhan has about 4 or 5 different spellings and ways of saying it. It's bizarre, the language. Spain with a corner here. Referee making sure that all is under control. Our Brazilian referee, Rafael Claus, is by in to take the corner, left hand side. Swung in with the right foot, flicked on the near post, back post, Cucurella, and bundled over the line for 4. He struck at it, Cucurella, and despite the attempts to stop it, it was found away over the line, and it's 4-0 to Spain. Another on the list. This time it's the left back, Marc Cucurella. And it's a horror once again for Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it's off the defender. The keeper made the save, but it bounces back off the defender in the number 5 there, Altan Bakhti, that had the last touch there. Hassan Altak Bakhti. I think it will be another own goal because Cucurella's shot was initially saved, so it should go down as an own goal. But it's kind of what we expected from Spain in the first game that they've produced in this one. Bit of pressure here from Saudi Arabia. Ball swung into the area, but easily taken by Unai Simon. Rodri, a bit closed down there. Better pressure on the ball from Saudi Arabia, but this time they bypass of the press into Rodri again. Now Olmo. Olmo going for the switch. A little bit short towards Pedri, but easily picked up by Saudi Arabia. They find themselves in a horrible position right now where they're 4-0 down. They've tried to defend to start the second half, and they've come out and conceded another after the 3 of the first half, and it's just another real body blow to Saudi Arabia in the fact that they've tried their best to hang on. Spain have just been too good for them. Too good. It's their first shot of the second half for Spain, and that's into the back of the net. As I said, they've along with a record list of teams that have scored a record number of goals in a World Cup game. 7-0 against Costa Rica is the highest Spain have ever scored in a World Cup game. They're on 4 with 40 minutes or so to go. And if they want it, they could probably at least match that record. No disrespect to Saudi Arabia, but the form Spain are in at the moment, they would put 7 past a vast majority of teams in this tournament. It's a bit of luck, really. The Cucurella's shot was saved and then deflected off Altan Bakhti, but this will be a disappointment. Aymeric Laporte. Pedri. Laporte. Of course, this wouldn't. Oh, that's a lovely ball threaded through. Running behind. Torres with a follow-up after the initial shot from Porro was saved by Alois. Correa there, going to be penalised for a foul. Yeah, wonderful through ball by Pau Cubarsí, the centre-back playing in the right-back. Pedro Porro made the run in behind, and then his shot was saved. Bounced back into the head of Ferran Torres, who tried to loop it past the goalkeeper, but Alois got down to make the save. But Spain pressing and pushing and threatening more. Berkan there had nowhere to go and gave the ball away. Baena, Pedri, almost space here for Spain if they want to move again. Olmo though, just happy to play it out to the right hand side. Flip ball towards Ferran Torres in the middle. That's cleared away. Rodri. Porro. Olmo looking for Pino around the right side. That's closed out. Porro though battling to win it back. This is a foul by Pedro Porro. See that ball again. Beautiful pass through by Cubarsí. Great run by Pedro Porro, and then his shot. See it here. It's well saved by Alois. It bounces up into the air. Looped by Ferran Torres to try and launch it into the far corner. And Alois tracked it well and made the save. And it's not only warm over in the USA, it's scorching hot here in the UK, albeit it's not not 30 degrees, but 20 degrees is very warm here. Humidity takes it to an extreme level. He's roasting, absolutely roasting today as they try and squeeze it through the lines there. Cucurella is quick to react. Ball fired across. Switched out to the far right hand side. Porro, Rodri, Pedri, maybe angling one up. In the end, didn't get the shot off. Rodri wide, it goes. Pino into the box over the head of Cucurella. Finding Alex Baena on the left. Baena, nicely challenged. Cucurella though quick to retrieve. Olmo. Pedri, back to Rodri. Around the corner to Laporte. Rodri again, wide it goes. Cucurella down the left channel. Sharp, quick passing again from Spain. Rodri. Cucurella. Don't know why I'm yawning again. I'm not tired. All flicked over the top. Maybe he was sitting in the sun all day. That's maybe what's made me tired. Apologies. I'm roasting as well. Absolutely roasting. Well, as they tried to squeeze that ball through there, Spain, Marc Cucurella made the run in behind. The ball bounced actually in behind towards him after they made the block, the Saudi Arabian defenders. And he was quick to react to the loose ball. And ended up deflected, fired across the box, and they couldn't end up making anything of it past that Spain. But decent move. Decent chance. Well, it's got to this point in the game where Saudi Arabia just look lost out there. They're trying their best to garner any sort of control, momentum, anything out of this game at all. It's not control, it's not momentum, it's just get some passes together, because it's been such a disappointment ultimately this game. And I said it early in the match, I said if Spain get an early goal, this could rack up the numbers, but that's what it's kind of turned out that way. Spain got that early goal after just 10 minutes and added a second and a third in quick succession of each other. And then the fourth came early in this second half, and they've just continued to dominate possession, control the game, control the tempo and the speed. Saudi Arabia have tried their best to stop it, but it's just been complete dominant control from Spain from the very first minute, the very first second. I have no idea what the commentators are talking about here. I was just listening to what on earth they're talking about. This game has got so, not monotonous, but to this point Spain are in such control, there's very little to say other than the players' names back to back. And they're just talking about these players that played years ago, and one of them had a ruptured testicle. I mean, what on earth is that type of commentary? I mean, what are you talking about? Madness. There's going to be a yellow card handed out here for Cano, one of the half-time substitutes for Saudi Arabia. He's been given a yellow card for a Ahmed Cano. The challenge there a little late, and that's been penalised by the referee. Even more worry for Saudi Arabia, because Spain are going to bring on another one of their danger players. Nico Williams is coming on very shortly. Before that, though, they'll make some changes of their own here, Saudi Arabia. Al-Brakan and I couldn't quite see who the other player was that come off there, but they made a double change. I'll tell you those names in a second when I have the details, but Al-Haji is on. You can see that definitely. As does Al-Shamat, Mohammed Abu Al-Shamat. He's replaced Al-Amri, and Al-Brikan, the other one, off. So double substitution as well for Spain, it looks like here. Dani Olmo's going to be replaced by Mikel Merino, and Alex Baena is going to be replaced by Nico Williams. So Merino and Williams on, Baena and Olmo off here for Spain. As we surpass the 60-minute mark here in this one, Spain in firm control, dominating this game by 4-0. And looks like they're going to comfortably pick up what is an important 3 points in this group. As they want to keep alive the hopes and belief that they will top this group. Viva España. It's a song of choice in the Spanish crowd. They're moving it nicely here, Spain. Ferran Torres in behind, trying to work the angle to shoot. Closed down there, but it's swung back. I think the foul's actually been given against Spain. Ferran Torres wanted the foul, but actually the foul goes against him. Yeah, see it here. Really nice football, and the bouncing ball picked up by Ferran Torres, and as he tried to drift back onto his left. Okay, he tried to kick the ball and ended up kicking by Jami. Yeah. There's a foul. Accidental completely by Ferran Torres, but a foul nonetheless. Unai Simon. Laporte to Cucurella around the corner. Nico Williams with his first touch. A little heavy there, that first touch. Quickly picked back up. Lovely turn by Pedri. He's got space ahead of him. It's a 3v3 ahead. He can find one of them, but he's being man-marked and tracked by a number of Saudi Arabia players. And it's given away. Pedri wanted the foul, but referee plays on. Down the left they come. Room to really manoeuvre as Spain drop everybody back into shape to defend this situation. A rare moment of attacking play from Saudi Arabia in this game. They've only had 2 shots in the whole game. Yet to have a shot on target, Saudi Arabia. So certainly not the most prolific in the final third to this stage. Give you a visual representation of those stats to show you really how in control Spain have been. If we can get that on the screen for you. And there it is. A visual representation in terms of the red is Spain and the green is of course Saudi Arabia. And look at the red control. Here they're in behind again. Ferran Torres! Trying to flick it round the keeper, but flicked it wide. Perfect idea, just not the perfect execution from Ferran Torres. Again, wonderful line play by Spain. Runners into the half spaces, and it's a lovely thread through ball. I think it's Mikel Merino played the pass, and it's running onto it was Torres, and he 1v1 with the keeper. Tried to flick it round the outside of him. In the end, flicked it off target, but frustration from Ferran Torres in this tournament so far. He started the first game and struggled, and 1 or 2 opportunities there not quite going his favour in this one since he's come on, but he's making opportunities, certainly getting in those positions. Here's the star boy, Lamine Yamal, just emerging from the dressing room again after his wonderful first half display, along with Mikel Oyarzabal, running the show for Spain in that first 45 and running the show in terms of the 2 teams in this game. 65 on the clock, 25 to go. Spain leading by 4-0 after the Cucurella shot that was saved, deflected off Altam Bakhti? Altam Bakhti, shall I say, apologies. Altam Bakhti scored the 4th Spanish goal. And they threatened for more, but again, just haven't been able to find the net since. Ferran Torres looking the most dangerous of the Spanish players since coming on, the centre forward. Cucurella. Nice reverse ball by Pedri, out to Nico Williams on the left. Williams. This will be where Spain will be incredibly dangerous when they do get Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal on the pitch at the same time in full fitness. That's when you should be afraid of them, and they're probably hoping that that will be the case for the knockout stages. If Spain top the group, if they top their group, Spain, they will play on the 2nd of July, which is Thursday week. If they keep to the building of Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams in terms of their fitness, you would expect they'd be able to try and eke out, if not 90 minutes, but the vast majority of the game in that round of 32 match. Corner here for Spain. Nico Williams will take. This will be their 6th corner of the match, excuse me. Williams to take, goes short, rolls it to Pino. Pedri. Otsman's queuing up, swung it round the back. It's clipped across by Rodri. There's a white shirt that got there first, but I think Rodri was offside anyway. So, free kick to Saudi Arabia. And that is going to call for the hydration break. So a chance for the players and the officials alike to take on some liquids as we are about to embark on the final 20 or so minutes of this game. Spain 4 to the good, with a lead that would see them topping this group. Please. We'll actually give you a quick look at the table at halftime, at this point, shall we? If we can get these graphics to work for us. Bit touch and go so far. Can't complain though. Overall, the graphics have done pretty well. There is the table in Group H as it stands. Spain leading the way, 4 points, goal difference of +4. As it stands, Uruguay and Cape Verde still to play a little later on. So just a quick look at the moments. Andrew in the chat says, so helpful to have this channel. We have only Sirius XM in Canada, or for TV a full cable package, useless to me the remainder of the year. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Andrew, and everybody who's in the chat. Thank you very much for spending your Sunday with us, wherever you are in the world. Of course, Andrew is in Canada. Wherever you are around the world, thank you very much for joining us for this one. As Spain going to make another change here. Pedri is going to be replaced by Fabian Ruiz, one of the players who started the first game. So Ruiz on, Pedri off, and that is going to be their 5th and final change of the game for Spain with 20 minutes to go. And going into this last 20 minutes, it's about Saudi Arabia just not faltering under the pressure. They've done ultimately relatively well in the second half, despite the fact that Spain scored that early goal via a lucky own goal, unfortunately for Al-Tambakti to put into his own net. But I think Saudi Arabia will be not pleased by any stretch, but I think they'll be a little eased by the fact that at 4-0, 50 minutes on the clock, you thought really this could be 6 or 7 or maybe even more if Spain continue in that same feel. But I think they've just managed the game, Spain, and I think for Saudi Arabia's sake, they're probably happy that Spain have managed the game a little more. But it's not that they've not been without threat since that moment, Spain. They've had opportunities with Ferran Torres mostly, but they've had threat, but they just haven't been able to add that next goal, Spain, and Saudi Arabia just held on well. But to this point, I mean, it'll be a damaging defeat for them, a disappointing result. But to be honest, if I'm being completely honest with it, Saudi Arabia now know that, I mean, they play Cape Verde in the final game, so they will know that that is a must-win game if they're to have any chance of being a best third team. Because depending on what happens between Uruguay and Cape Verde a little later on this evening, I I mean, for example, if Cape Verde do it again and get something out of Uruguay, then they're on course for a really, really good tournament, and maybe a slim chance of getting out of the group, which would be a bizarre of all bizarre results. We'll see how Cape Verde do a little later on against Uruguay, but you would expect Uruguay to win that game, but we expected Spain to beat them, so it's never a formality. I actually expected this game to be a little bit more difficult for Spain, considering Saudi Arabia's previous past of being a bit of a giant killer, but it's been far from that for Luis de la Fuente's side. Have really had a point to prove that they are the team that they were 2 years ago. They are still that team that can really destroy an opponent, and they've shown that. Certainly in that first 45 minutes, they were untouchable against Saudi Arabia. Jane in the chat says, I'm watching the match on the Spanish channel and listening to your commentary. Well, thank you very much. Whatever way you're watching or however you're watching, thank you very much for being with us for this one. It's greatly appreciated. And while you're here, if you haven't done so already, do press the like button, do subscribe, and of course put on that notification bell, because you don't want to miss anything that we have in terms of the World Cup coverage here on LFS right the way through the tournament, all the way to the final on the 19th of July, who will crown our world champions. And we will bring you right the way through the tournaments, as we did in the Euros 2 years ago, as we tried to do 4 years ago in 2022, but that went majorly wrong because of some problems that FIFA had. We stripped back our graphics to make them completely neutral, and that there was no way that FIFA could try and destroy us again, and we seem to have succeeded so far. They seem to be happy with us, FIFA. As Pino trying to drive that one towards Ferran Torres. That one seen away by Saudi Arabia's defence once again. Fed ball by Fabian Ruiz into the path of Yeremy Pino. Flicks it back around the corner, looking for the run of Ruiz, but that's a sliding challenge from Ali Lajami. And this is the Spain side who've been on an unbeaten run inside 90 minutes since before their Euros victory. Since they were crowned European champions, they haven't lost a single game in 90 minutes. The only game they have lost was their Nations League final to Portugal, but that was on penalties. And last time before that was, of course, in March of 2024, which is an unbelievable record. 32 games unbeaten. It's about to be 33, but an unbelievable record for the European champions, as we've about to surpass the final 15 minutes. Earl says, I'm in Thailand doing the same thing. Thank you very much, Earl, for being with us. Andrew says, Iceland was considered tiny, but now we have Curaçao and Cabo Verde. 100%. But these two teams, I mean, what a job they've done at the start of this tournament. Of course, Curaçao were destroyed by Germany in the first game, but that was a difficult opener. The pressure maybe just got to them, but we saw their true quality against Ecuador last night, and what a wonderful job that was to get the goalless draw out of that. And Cabo Verde did the same against Spain last week. The small teams, or what's known as the small teams, are the teams that you don't expect to do well. A few of them have really performed well in the tournament. I've been really impressed with some of the outsiders. Obviously the big teams putting down the numbers that you would expect them to, the majority of them. No major shocks in terms of teams that at this moment going into these last two games are out of position massively in terms of their group. None of the big teams are under the cosh. I think Croatia are in a bit of a difficult spot in Group L. If I had to look elsewhere, Portugal may be in a tricky spot, but they've got a game to play still there. Other than that, you'd probably say all the big teams that you'd expect to be progressing from their expected groups are all doing relatively well and all in positions to progress, whether it be the top two or, at the very worst, a best third. And I would count Uruguay in that as one of the big teams. Certainly not one of the favourites, but certainly overall one of the bigger nations in the world. And Spain are currently second in the world. They've been leapfrogged by Argentina. France were the world number ones in the live FIFA rankings. But of course Argentina have retaken that spot. They are the current world champions, obviously. Spain is second, and then France coming in third. England fourth, Portugal fifth. That hasn't changed. Morocco have actually went above the Netherlands in terms of the world rankings as well. They're up to seventh. That's the highest they've ever been in their history for Morocco. Mexico have also jumped up, as have Uruguay in their world rankings. Iran have too. Iran side who we'll watch a little later. They've leapfrogged Denmark up to 20th in the world. Iran. Saudi Arabia 61st ranked in the world. Very few find their way lower ranked in the tournament than Saudi Arabia. Jordan, Bosnia, Cape Verde, Ghana, Curacao, Haiti and New Zealand. So they're, in terms of the FIFA rankings, one of the lowest, but have a chance in this group to try and qualify as a best third. Of course, 8 of the 12 third place teams from the groups will progress. The 8 best performing ones. Given away there by Saudi Arabia. Here is Nico Williams. Ball trying to play through Yeremy Pino. Finds Ferran Torres, who just couldn't return the ball to Yeremy Pino as he tried to. He just didn't skip into the path of Yeremy Pino. Of course, as it stands with Spain before this game, prior to this game, as it stood, Sweden, Scotland, Paraguay, Belgium, Portugal, Spain, Czech Republic and Ecuador were the 8 best performing teams. In terms of third place teams, Bosnia would have lost out on goal difference. Panama, Senegal and Jordan all on 0 points in terms of their third places. Of course, we will keep up to date with that right the way through, but you would feel that there is a lot on the line in terms of the third place teams, and a lot of them still a lot to play and a lot of games to play. And a lot of game to play in terms of a game and a half or 2 games at the very most for those still to play. And an interesting that I do feel there is something strange afoot. I do think there's a team that no one really expects to progress, if you know what I mean. I think Paraguay were one of those teams after the USA's defeat, win over Paraguay. You kind of thought Paraguay might struggle, but their win over Turkey was a bit of a surprise, and a really interesting surprise. Turkey have been awful in this tournament, already knocked out. 2-0 defeat to Australia and then a 1-0 defeat to Paraguay. It's not the result or the performance by any stretch that they wanted in this World Cup. They go into their third game knowing they're already out of the tournament. Here's Nico Williams. Got Cucurella on the overlap. Williams lifting it round the back. Oh, almost into his own net by the defender. He maybe was just pushed onto the ball there. I think the referee was saying a foul, and it was that man who put the ball into his net earlier, Hassan Altan-Bakti, that was pushed. It's definitely a foul to Saudi Arabia. It was Yeremy Pino that was in the mix. Yeah, good ball in by Nico Williams. It was Yeremy Pino just trying to skip across, and in the end was pushing into the back of Al-Tambakti. In the end, though, it was a foul on the defender. Almost putting him into his act for the second time. It's a World Cup that's certainly had an increase in own goals. The second most own goals for a single World Cup tournament since only 2018 has seen more own goals, 12 in that whole tournament. We're at 7 already in this one, including the goal we've seen in this game. So quite a high number so early in the tournament, but of course so many more games. Numbers will effectively be a bit higher. He's got the ball forward there. Hamid. Bit better play from Saudi Arabia in moments, but Spain overall seem to just have the better of it when they need to turn it on, and this time it's going to be a foul actually against Spain. The Saudi Arabian captain Al-Dasari wanted a foul. He was given the foul. Salam Al-Dasari. See it here, he's just kind of clattered into by Aymeric Laporte, which was a little bit cynical from Laporte. Nico Williams. Cucurella to Fabian Ruiz. Right to the right hand side. Kubarsi to Laporte. 6 minutes of normal time to go. Spain 4, Saudi Arabia 0. It's been Spanish control without much urgency to find a fifth goal from Spain. Not too much urgency to really add the fifth. Just been happy enough to settle with the ball in their second half. Reminder for you, Belgium-Iran is on the cards. That's a little later on. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff UK time. We'll be live from 10 minutes before kickoff to build up to that one. I look forward to what's going to come in that game. Iran, who slightly underperformed in their 2-2 draw with New Zealand, and a Belgium side who ultimately got the draw out of Egypt after losing the early goal to Egypt. Clawed back a leveller and were pushing for a winner that they ultimately couldn't find, but certainly a good result for them in the end. Both teams going into that with a draw from their first games. We'll see them in action in just over an hour's time. Abdul Hamid. Inside it goes, back to Abdul Hamid. Al Amri. Lajami. Going for the long diagonal out to the right. Nicely taken in. Swung towards the forward there. Al Shamat was trying to put the cross in, but seen away. Here is Al Shamat. I was going to take the throw in, but in the end, Abdul Hamid took it. Ajami come forward, a little bit risky. Spain trying to break it apart. Nico Williams with the effort. A bouncing ball that was threatening from Yeremi Pino, but Tambakti was the one to clear that. And there's a couple of issues here. 1 or 2 Saudi Arabian players in a bit of bother. So another stoppage in the game. The last time these two played was in a friendly back in 2012. Spain won 5-0 on that occasion. And they did, of course, previously meet in 2006 in the World Cup. It's actually almost 20 years to the day. They played on June the 23rd, 2006. It's June 21st, of course, today. Spain won 1-0 against Saudi Arabia in that game back in 2006 in Germany. They were ranked 5th in the world, and Juanito with the only goal of that game. Spanish side that, of course, had a very different spell back then in the early 2000s. World Cup finals back in 2006, where Spain were knocked out at the round of 16 stage by France. France beat them 3-1. France side who ultimately lost in the final to Italy in 2006. The Spanish side are very different at the moment, as they do still have the player receiving treatment, not in the best of ways, at the number 23, one of the substitutes, I would believe. It is Mohamed Kano, and in a difficult spot at this moment in time. As I said, as it stands with the results elsewhere in Group J, which this group is linked with in terms of ultimate outcomes, in terms of the knockout stages, Spain would face Austria as it stands. They will, of course, if they finish top of the group, Spain, they will face second place in Group J. If they finish second in this group, they will place top place in Group J. Remember, that's Argentina, Austria amongst that group as well. So very interesting prospects on the horizon. Well, after being checked up on, Cano is going to be stopped from coming back on. He wants more action. There's a substitute getting ready for Saudi Arabia, so question marks over whether that will be the swap. This will, of course, be their final sub of the game. It's not going to be. It's going to be Nasser Al-Dassari. So Nasser Al-Dassari coming off, and Khalid Al-Ghanam is on. After all that, we're about to hit the 90 minutes. Of course, we'll expect to have quite a lot of added time. With that injury stoppage, plus all the extra added time that we would have anyway. It will be 6 minutes. So 6 added minutes. Maybe less than I expected, to be fair, considering the long stoppage and then the hydration break, the substitutions. 6 minutes is fairly liberal. Laporte. Laporte giving it back, a little 1-2 with Mikel Merino. Cucurella back to Rodri. Squared it across to Kubarsi. Down the right hand side it comes. Porro. Pino. Fabian Ruiz into Porro. Porro across. Torres tucks it in. 5-0 Spain. Ferran Torres, the referee, gives the goal. The assistant doesn't flag. It's 5-0 to Spain. And they have been quite exotic today. And they have deserved this lead and this scoreline. Spain 5, Saudi Arabia 0. And that was an easy goal, if ever you've seen one, for Ferran Torres. As we see, might just have lent offside, maybe, possibly. See it again. We'll have to see what VAR has to say. It's a tight one. Tight one indeed. So the VAR will have a look. Of course, it'll be semi-automated, of course. We'll wait and see if Ferran Torres held his run just enough. To me, it looked like he just lent offside, to me. It's that little bit. Looked like it was the left back that was playing him on. If he was playing him on, but he was the last man. Ferran Torres, who's not had the luck of the rub of the green in this World Cup so far. So will this be another one that will escape him? Let's see it again. It's a better angle of it. To me, looks like he might just be off. Maybe just. Just checking to see. VAR. This won't have a major difference in the grand scheme of things, whether it's 5 or 4, but maybe in goal difference terms it could. Depending on what happens between Spain and Uruguay in Game 3, that could be a big player. But and same for Saudi Arabia. Goal difference could play a part, but we will await. We will see. As I said, it's not been Ferran Torres' tournament so far. This has taken a very long time for no apparent reason. And it's a really simple thing to do. They've done it countless times before in this tournament. It's really quite simple. And the final decision is no goal. So his goal will not count, Ferran Torres. It's back to 4. And that took a very long time. Very, very long time. That's all I really have to say about that. I'm not pleased at all that it took a good 2 or 3 minutes to decide whether he was on or off, after we have semi-automated systems that can should be able to decide that in 20-30 seconds at the very most. I mean, why it took 2 to 3 minutes for them to do that is bizarre. It would have been his 25th goal for his country, Ferran Torres, and his 3rd at the World Cup, but not this time. Have to wait for that chance. Well, one thing you can say, no disrespect, not to really make ease of it, but Spain have kept 2 clean sheets. As it stands, they would keep a 2nd clean sheet. That might bode well, albeit not come against the most prolific attackers in the world in Cape Verde or Saudi Arabia, but and that's what I mean by that Uruguay game. We'll see the true measure of Spain in a more like-for-like matchup, albeit Uruguay are still not to Spain's level, but much more to their level than a Cape Verde or a Saudi Arabia. And no disrespect to those teams and the job that they've tried to do, but in terms of the overall aspect, defensively, we'll see how strong Spain are in that aspect in that Uruguay game. So they haven't been tested whatsoever in either of those, the first 2 games. And listen, that's not that I'm getting at these 2 teams, certainly not Cape Verde by any stretch. They defended excellently and that was their job, and they did their job perfectly. But in terms of Saudi Arabia, they'll be disappointed the fact even though they've been open themselves, they've actually had nothing to show for it at the top end of the pitch, which will slightly displease them. Here's Nico Williams out to the left-hand side. Correa. And reverse it. Taken in by Marino. It goes to Porro, who will swing one deep, looking for Ferran Torres, just over his head and put behind and out for the throw. Nico Williams was on the scene there too. Earl says when you keep the ball as much as Spain, you don't concede many. Well, that is true, but also I don't expect them to dominate the ball as much in every game, albeit we've seen it before, but I don't expect them to have 70% or more possession in every game in the tournament, and when we progress further deeper into the tournament, I don't expect that as much. But certainly expect them to have more of the ball than the opponent, just not to the extent of what they've had in these last two games. But it is a massive positive in the right direction, and a must-win game that will go in their favour. I'll be pleased with that, the fact that they have been able to get on the score sheet and find a couple and ease their players, rest a few, and still come away with a big win. There's the final whistle. Spain off the mark with their first victory at this World Cup. Another clean sheet for Unai Simon, which will please him, but all the stardom of the first half is what we were in awe of. Lamine Yamal and Mikel Oyarzabal absolutely run the show. The goal, the fourth, came in the second half after an own goal from Altan Bakhti. But overall, Spain dominated this game, controlled it from the very first minute to the last, and outclassed Saudi Arabia galore. A wonderful result, a much needed win for Spain to maybe restore a little bit of outside confidence to this young group, that they are still the team they were 2 years ago that dominated Europe, and now wanting to dominate the world. Saudi Arabia on their list, 33 unbeaten for Spain. Yamal off the mark, Oyarzabal with 2, and an own goal as well. 4 for Spain, and the final score here in Atlanta, it's finished Spain 4, Saudi Arabia 0. And that shows you the top of the group. We'll see how Uruguay do in their game against Cape Verde a little later. And we'll show you confirmation of the final score and what's to come here on LFS. So there's the final score, 4-0 to Spain in the books. The second 4-0 game of the day in terms of Sunday's action UK-wise. Only one team has scored in each of those games. 4 teams have kept a clean sheet today. There you go. Right, what's to come? Well, Belgium take on Iran next. That's Group G. Belgium and Iran both drew their opening games. We'll see how they fare. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. We'll be live for that around about 10 to 8 from Los Angeles SoFi Stadium for that one. But the European champions off the mark. A win in the books, a 4-0 one at that, and a pretty much comfortable game. Both scores in the first half taken off at half time. Who said it was difficult for Spain? Certainly not me. Bye-bye.